I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been successful in life?
Hey, welcome back, folks. It's kind of a new year. We did the preview episode, but it's the first episode in 2024 where we're actually going to do some bets. So that's going to be exciting. Welcome. Joining us on the MMA Analysis. We appreciate all of you watching and or listening. Sean, how you doing?
Trying not to turn into an ice cube. It's going to be like minus 40, minus 50 in a couple days, tomorrow, next couple days. So.
It's going to move our way, but not nearly as bad as you're getting it. I think Wes and I have basically the same temperatures next week.
Yeah.
Wes, how are you?
Oh, just hanging in there, man. Shaking the sickness finally.
The webcam's on the way.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Eventually.
We'll get this ugly ass face back on the screen eventually. Yeah, man. We're about to get that Canadian. We get those nice little Canadian dips that come from Sean's way and travel down across the country, and we're getting one of those next week. We're looking at like some wind chills below 0 Fahrenheit and shit. It's always lovely in Kentucky when you can be 50 something degrees Fahrenheit one week and the next week you're fucking 0. So always a good time around here.
That will certainly be exciting. I can't wait for the annual "How do we deal with snow" thing from round about your parts. A little bit.
No.
You guys are all right.
Not here. We know we deal with it. But you can go literally like, 2 hours south from here, which is wild. Go to Nashville and they're idiots. Go to Alabama or Georgia and shit. And like they get like a 1/4 inch of ice and their highway shut down. You know what I'm saying? Like
snow. We thought you were talking about cocaine. No, that comes from the other direction. Stupid. Learn
Stoopy works too.
Stoopy. All right. Well, we don't have anything to break down from last week. That's good. No losers.
Yeah.
Right. Fresh slate, baby. We are at 0.
Any news or exciting stuff that has happened? Just seems like the break has been too long and people are starting to bitch about matchups and lists, and it's not
the best thing to happen is to watch all of the people walking back to Ngannou completely screwed his career, like it's just completely fucked without the UFC. Like that's pretty nice to watch happen. Pretty good.
I guess he had a little bit of a fight announced, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he had a pretty big fucking fight.
It's fucking wild that
Yep.
He is gonna fight Fury and Joshua back to back.
Ngannou is going to be involved in 2 of the biggest boxing fights in the past decade. Literally back to back. Ngannou is going to make fucking $100 million, but he fumbled that bag.
Out of the 4 top heavyweights of this generation, Fury, Wilder, Joshua, and I'm counting Usyk because he's in there now. Hawes is going to fight 2 of those guys before any of the rest of them.
Yeah. What's wild is he will fight AJ and Fury back to back, and we've been waiting for AJ Fury for 5 or 6 years now to happen. Ooh. We've been waiting for AJ Wilder for fucking 5 or 6 years now. Like it's pretty incredible what the guys pulled off. And
yeah,
like doing us sitting there watching him drop Tyson Fury, like he lost the fight. Like he won though. Like that man won.
He won at life.
But like, that's like he dropped one of. Some people don't like to give Fury his due. Fury is one of the best pure technical heavyweight boxers that we've ever seen. Like, give the dude his props a little bit. He's a fat sack of shit half the time, and all the dumb shit.
Got off the canvas multiple times. Like,
the man can box, and Hog dropped that man. Like, come on, dude. I tell you this, like, Dave Mason, like, probably got hit with like $500, $250 bets the other day because whoever over there opened AJ like minus 155 should be fired. Like, literally should be fired. He ain't gonna lose a bunch of money on that, but you got the wrong man setting your fucking lines, buddy. The wrong man.
That was one of those engagement lines that they put out there.
Yeah. That's like a bonus. That's like they're just giving people $250 bonuses, right?
Everybody else over, what was it, like minus 500 or something? Like, I'm like, yeah, that's a like Love Ngannou, the same as Fury fight. Would absolutely love to watch him go in there and fucking drop AJ. But I tell you what, Fury showed up just cashing a check. AJ ain't gonna show up to cash a check. AJ's gonna this could be ugly for Ngannou. This could be what we all thought Fury was going to
be. Yeah.
Yep.
Regardless, the line being minus 450 for the Hog in his second boxing match against Anthony Joshua is still insane. It might prove to be a historically bad line, but it's just crazy that that's where we are in 2024.
I mean, minus 400 on AJ in this fight is still one of those situations where you're like, there's a lot of value on a minus 400 because this is one of those, this should be one of those usual boxing lines that we see where it's minus 1500 or something like that.
Yep.
Like,
if this was Hog's first fight, then, you're almost maybe not adding a zero to that number, but you're multiplying it by like 4 or 5. Like,
man, the man's he's legitimately always going to have a puncher's chance. This is different level stuff, man. I think we all watched the Fury fight and knows that Fury rode up out of bed, fucking off of a buffet, and showed up at that fight. He looked like absolute garbage.
He's still a man that has been boxing since he's been walking.
And that's why AJ is not minus 5,000 in this fight.
That's right.
Because we saw that happen. The AJ that fought a few weeks ago is going to absolutely obliterate Ngannou. It's going to suck. I don't like it, but happy for him.
This was kind of a random one for UFC 299. BSD getting Poirier. Number 12. We never see guys that are like household names fighting a guy that's outside of the top 10.
Yeah. Props to Dustin, because
props to him for taking it.
It's like a last fight of an old contract. It was like the last fight of his Conor contract.
I don't know.
He's getting like $1 million or whatever to fight whoever they were going to put in front of him.
I mean, the other
fight it's still a dangerous fight.
Do Bronx, like I don't know how I feel about Do Bronx taking that fight. I just don't.
Yeah, he kind of got fucked. Seems like Gaethje is gonna fight Islam after Ramadan, and our boy Do Bronx has to take out probably the third best fighter in lightweight to get his title shot after he beat the second. Ranked lightweight at the time.
That's a tough one, man. That's a really tough fight, bro. I'm not feeling great about that.
Yeah, I think the big swinging Denise steamrolls Poirier.
Yeah,
I think he is going.
He is a favorite. He is a favorite.
I think he's going
on the odds. So yeah,
Poirier is. I mean, not just old in age, but man, Poirier has been in a lot of fights. Yep, and
this dude might just grapple the fuck out of Poirier too.
Yeah, might. He's gonna take Poirier down and smash him, probably, dude. Like, that's not a good. I don't get it. I don't like. Props to Poirier, but I do not get that. That's a bad career move.
It's gonna set this back for years when BSD comes in and just wrecks Poirier, and now all the top 5 guys are like, I'm not fighting anybody outside the top 10 ever.
Yep.
So it will be Poirier's going into his 14th year fighting in WEC or UFC.
And a lot of, I mean, not just banger fights, but the injuries in between. The man's had a lot of injuries and stuff. Like, this is the wrong guy, man. This the wrong guy.
I think so.
What was it? Oh yeah, the one more thing I want to say real quick. The whole Jon Jones thing going on with Tom Aspinall and Stipe and this and that. Yeah, our boy Bronister did a little interview, and I think Bronister kind of hit it right that like John could walk away and retire now. Like people's talking about, oh, he should fight Aspinall on this because he's got the interim belt. Look, that means nothing to Jon Jones. It means nothing really to the UFC. The UFC,
but then drop the belt. If this was anybody that isn't Jon Jones, then they would just make him drop the belt if he has no intention of.
But it is Jon
fighting.
Jones.
It is Jon Jones, and
they
want the one last big payday with Steve.
And UFC are whores. Yes, let's be serious.
Of course, but that's the right call for Jon Jones and the UFC. Like Jon Jones should.
Hell yeah, it is for Jon Jones. He gets to beat up a crippled old man who's a part-time fighter.
But like Aaron said, if he fights Aspinall and beats Aspinall, it does zero for his legacy. Honestly, he fights Stipe and beats Stipe, it really does nothing for his legacy. He's already cemented where he's going to be cemented. He fights Aspinall and gets his ass kicked. People are going to start asking questions. You know what I'm saying? So like, why take that fight? And then like in all of that, I saw again all the people that are like, how do y'all have this man as your GOAT when he's failed this drug test and this drug? And I just want to go through like on his title run when he was beating the likes of Machida and Shogun.
That was after though. That was later in his career.
Well, I'm just saying. You think all those guys were clean? He was fighting. Give me a fucking break. How many steroid users?
He fought a bunch of pride guys.
Yeah,
his
early
fights,
really
he was fighting steroids.
He was fighting Stephan Bonner early on. Stephan Bonner had fucking steroids dripping out of his fucking pores, man. Like this guy fought steroid dudes his whole career. They were all on steroids. Look, stop with this. Like a steroid doesn't kick DC in the fucking head. You know what I'm saying? Like a steroid doesn't do that. I'm tired of all this shit, man.
Also, who cares? That's Cormier's fight for not fucking taking steroids. Like, I mean, give a fuck, man.
I mean, so many people do, and it just drives me crazy. It's a lot of newer fans that are like that too. Yeah. He's a steroid cheat. He's a steroid cheat, man, dude. 75% of dudes are on steroids. One and two, like, just give me a break. We're watching dudes beat the shit out of each other in a cage, and y'all are talking about this guy's not the best fist fighter because he had some EPO in his body and shit. Give me a fucking break, bro. Stop with it. Just stop.
And you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that Cormier is the cleanest guy in the world when he's in the same room as the peak EPO Khabib.
He cheats making weight. I mean,
well, that's another thing that I was seeing in that was everybody saying Khabib's like the GOAT because he did it all clean and he never lost. One, Khabib probably lost a decision, and two, you think one of the biggest cheating countries on the entire planet, Russia,
he was clean
literally. All these guys are clean. They got this insane fucking cardio that you've never seen on anybody that are associated with one of the most cheatingest countries that have been banned from international competitions. And you think they're all clean. Give me a fucking break. Y'all are some gullible. You're not that dumb. You're not that dumb. You just say you hate Jon Jones because he's a piece of shit. Yep, he is. He is an absolute fucking scumbag. Guess what? He's the greatest fighter that we've ever seen walk this planet. Period. Like, you can separate those two things. You can separate them.
A long time ago, I said, are we shocked that one of the best fighters ever in history at beating people up for money is a scumbag? Like, really? Exactly. That's surprising to you?
Just start naming me
people that this sport attracts.
Start naming me the ones that aren't. You know what I'm saying? Like Sean Strickland's running around talking about murdering people and fucking he literally fucking a MAGA fucking troll bag. And y'all like, oh, give me a break, man. This sport is filled with some of the most fucking worst people on earth. And y'all are talking about this guy's not the greatest because he's a piece of shit. Shut the fuck up, man. Give me a break, dude. They're cage fighters. They're beating each other for money.
And speaking of beating each other for money, that's what we're here to do?
Make money, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe.
We're here for other people to beat people up, for us to make money. There you go. And hopefully we're going to start off the year on a good front. We've got old Johnny Walker. Is this Irish Johnny Walker or is this Brazilian Johnny Walker now? Do we know?
He's living and training. It's Irish Johnny Walker.
Let's get the Irish one. That would be much appreciated.
I don't know.
Anyway,
yeah,
something that could bring the Irish out of them is old Yawnkalaev starting the year off with the banger. I've heard in interviews that he's going to bring it this time, guys. So I don't know if that changes the way you think about this fight, but we've never heard that before from him. That he's never gone out and bored us to death for 25 minutes, only for people to defend the performance. But this time, it's coming out hot. So we'll get to that at the end of the show. Got to keep you waiting. We're going to kick it off. Indie flyweight division. Felipe Bunes taking on my pick for breakout flyweight of the year, Joshua Van. Sean.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. Van's obviously already has 2 wins in the UFC. It's late notice. He's just trying to get catch a check, I guess. He's the much better fighter. I know this guy is Bunes is decent. Has been fighting in LFA and that's all good and well. But I think Joshua Van is actually pretty damn good. So I'll probably be putting him in a small parlay.
Wesley.
Yeah, I like Van in this spot too. Probably pass on parlaying him in this spot. I'm gonna try early on to play shit I really like and see how it goes for me. And Van at around this price, I don't know. He should get a win here. The only thing I was kind of looking at is a little over here. There's some overs on this card that I kind of like. This is one that I think we could see go a little time if there's not an early finish in it. Van's kind of a slow, stand back, strike a little bit, get his timing down and stuff. He's got multiple decisions since he's gotten into the UFC. Bunes has got some decisions too. I know he got finished by Juicy like a couple years back over in LFA. I mean, it's kind of what Juicy does. He's a little bit more aggressive and stuff than I think Joshua Van is. So I just think it's a little bit slower fight. Might look at an over here. 2.5 is around plus 120. As far as the side, I like Vans, but I just think the price is a tiny bit wide.
Yeah, I'm always a little hesitant to play larger favorites in the debuting flyweight fights. These guys on the regional scene at flyweight are actually good, and when they come into the UFC, they actually usually perform pretty well. Wes, I've got to say, I've heard a couple times from you now that you're going to try and be patient in 2024, and I believe it a little bit less every time I hear it. So we'll see if we can get that changed by the end of the card.
I swore I will not have 10 bets on this card. It might be 9, but I'm not gonna have double-digit bets on this card.
Baby steps. I'll pick Van here because obviously I think relatively highly of him, but I'm not interested in betting this one. Maybe the over's a look because Bunes only seems to like getting submitted, and Juicy's going to do that to you if he takes your back. I think this is going to be probably 15 minutes of striking. Moving on to the lightweight division, we've got Tom Nolan. He's Australian, New Zealandish, something, one of those. He's taking on You Only Live Once. It's the motherfucking Motta. Sean.
Motta's fucking terrible. His only win in the UFC is Cameron Van Camp, who is also horrible.
That
Yeah.
was real bad.
He got the no contest against Ogden. He was losing that fight. He was going to get finished there, and the ref was stupid. I don't know much about this Australian feller, but he crushed his guy on the Contender Series like it was supposed to. That's probably the level of that Motta is, so he probably crushes this guy.
Wesley.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like this Nolan cat should crush Motta, but man, minus 300 on a guy pretty much making his UFC debut, like Australian. Yeah, that's just not you don't that's not where you want your money at. Most cases. Sean's right though, like Nolan should get Motta out of there, but like, are we gonna be shocked if Motta pulls something off? I mean, it is a minus 300 dude from Australia. I mean, the under 1.5 is minus 285 and stuff. Like, that's probably the side. Like, Motta's like die or fucking kills. Like, that's what's gonna happen here. But I can't lay minus 285 on an under 1.5. So this is just a total pass for me.
I'm gonna assume that Eddie in the chat is actually one of Sean's burners. He's just trying to like message me and be like, "Hey, you're a terrible host. Why have you not explained ToutMaster?" So Eddie, appreciate it. ToutMaster, 10th annual ToutMaster.
10.
Decahedral ToutMaster. I think that means 10. Something like that. I think that's for a shape, though. I don't know. But anyway, 10 of them. Year-long pick'em contest. You pick every fight on the card. It's based on the betting odds for that fight. And if you pick a favorite, you get 1 point. If you pick an underdog, you get whatever their odds are. If they're plus 200, you get 2 points for that. If it's a tight fight and they're plus 100, it's still just 1 point. And then highest score at the end of the year takes home a couple grand, couple three, four.
Hopefully.
How are we doing for the sign? We know we got the old DOP bump today. So shout out to our boys Paul and Cody over there. Sean, take it away. Explain more.
So email the MMA Analysis at gmail.com if you want more details and all the rules and all that shit, or DM us on Twitter. Of course, Elon fucked that up, and you basically have to follow each other for people to DM if you are not verified. So
Twitter is a cyber truck now.
It's amazing. We're doing all right. Of course, it's insane how many people sign up
at the last minute.
1 to 2 days before that
being said, we're recording this on Wednesday night.
Yep.
Friday is the actual
Friday at
deadline.
midnight. Yep.
None of this
get in while you can.
2 a.m. on Saturday. No, fuck off. All right. Friday deadline.
Sean has to do some actual work, like Sean's got to make a sheet and everything for you. Like, give the man a little time,
So we're at 80. We're at 83 right now. I've seen a shit ton of emails. There's probably 10 more by the time we're done this show, but I'm sure we'll get close to what we did last year. We got a nice bump from the Dogger.
What was when last year?
We were 163 last year.
What was winning?
Something like 28.10 or something like that. 28.70 was the first prize.
Top 5 got a good pay.
28.70 was first. Second place 16.40, and third 10.66, and we paid out all the way to 10th. So top 3 got over a grand, and even 10th got some money. So it's not bad.
Get in there.
You can beat a couple of idiots like us at picking fights. You got a chance to 20 times your money if you finish in third. Maybe more than that if you do even better. Pet peeve of mine, if someone were to say like 20x, you're going to 20x your money, bro. Like, no, it's 20 times. It's the same amount of syllables. Say the thing that doesn't make you sound like an asshole. All right? Good.
But it's a great indicator to know who's an asshole, Brad. So then you just know. You don't have to wonder if this guy's an asshole.
But there's like people that I know that are smart that do it too.
Oh.
I think that's the part that gets me.
Tough.
Anyway, Nicolas Motta probably going to get knocked out, but I am not paying minus 300 on some debuting Aussie guy that's never really fought anybody. So this one is going to be a big old pass for me. And we'll move it to the featherweight division. Jon Silva. I guess he's making his UFC debut. I guess maybe he's got some hype because he is a minus up to 1,200, I think is the highest, against something called Weston Wilson. Sean, who are these guys and why is this price so ridiculous?
Weston Wilson is a guy who's anytime he's got close to fighting somebody good, he just gets smoked. But he's been on the regional scene for a while. People were pissed when he got signed because they thought there was many other guys that had not got signed by the UFC that could have fought. He got to fight Joe Anderson Brito, and Brito absolutely fucking battered him like everybody thought. So that's probably why. Yeah, that's fair. And like this is flyweights who I find, it's featherweights. Sorry,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you said flyweights.
I absolutely did not say flyweights. I said it earlier when we were talking about the flyweights, but I didn't say it this time.
Fair enough. I don't know how good this Gene Silva guy is. He looked okay on Contender Series, but that is a big number. Weston Wilson is horrible, but it's hard to trust a guy that doesn't look like Joe Anderson Brito to do what Joe Anderson Brito at the price that it should be. So I don't know, fucking plus 800, 8 points in ToutMaster. Why not?
Wesley, do you believe in the Lord Assassin, Jon Silva?
I mean, I guess as much as you can in a minus 800 here. I mean, I'm not running out to put my money on him. This Wilson guy is, look, if it was almost anybody but this Wilson dude, I'd probably be taking some of the plus 800 that's out there. Look, Silva he was one of those guys on the Contender Series last year to where he looked okay. He won his fight. Everybody's getting contracts. You're getting a contract. You won. You're getting one. He was one of those dudes last year. He did what he was supposed to do. But this Winston guy, I mean, fuck, he's boxing dudes at Rock the Bells, getting choked out by Ishihara. Like, this dude's really, really bad. Silva being like around the same price as fucking Brito was against this guy, though, was pretty wild because this dude is not fucking Brito. But man, I wish I could find a way to want to take this dog here. You can't. This guy's bad. I mean, I was searching for like just any kind of bet I would give out on here, and they haven't dropped it, but maybe fight starts round 2. Like the over 1.5 is like plus 275. I don't know if this guy goes out here and destroys this Wilson guy. Like, it's possible, but the fight starts round 2 should probably be somewhere like plus 150, plus 175 or something in that range. I think there's a possibility that this gets to the second round, but man, I don't know. This is a bad fight with a bad fighter and another dude that's one of those Contender Series guys last year that everybody was getting a contract.
Yeah, I don't know who these guys are. So instead of talking about this fight, I'm going to talk about who I thought was fighting when I saw the name Jon Silva, which is that like old dude from Shootbox that ended up like moving to London or whatever. And he fought a bunch of guys on Kate. He fought like Paul Daly and Gomi and he's so old that he fought Leo Santos in his like second or third MMA fight. And Jean Silva was he was a baller back in the day. He lost to most of the good guys that he fought.
He's clean, too. Clean. Nothing. No gear.
That's right.
Y'all know who Brad's talking about? Like the dude was he was fucking jacked too. Like,
yeah, so that's fun. There's probably some cool cage rates fights of his on Fight Pass if anyone still has that these days. Could be worth a little watch. Bantamweight division. Taylor Lapilus taking on Farid Whack-A-Mole. Sean?
It's gonna be a tough fight for Lapilus. I think we all think Basharat is pretty damn good. He did the damn thing last time out there against a guy that's okay. Lapilus, got it done last time, but that turned into a bit of a stressful one later in the third. He gasped pretty hard. I don't know if that was just a one-off or it's just more of a known issue. If it is, I think Basharat is definitely going to exploit that. Basharat pushes a pretty damn decent pace and likes to wrestle. So I think Basharat is going to get it done. I don't know if he gets a finish because Lapilus is fairly tough, but it should be a fairly one-sided win for Basharat.
Wes.
Yeah, I like the old Whack-A-Mole in this spot as well. Just trying to decide if I want to try to find a parlay piece for him or if I want to look at him by decision. Like Sean talked about that last fight with Lapilus, him kind of gassing. If he does that against the old Basharat, Basharat will definitely exploit that and try to get a finish. So I think it's gonna be close on that, but I think this should be a fairly clean Basharat win. This is a decent matchup for him, and I think the guy's pretty good. I'm not sure if this is the sort of fight that he should be having right now. I kind of feel like he should be fighting a little bit above this kind of guy. So I know Lapilus is on a good winning streak and stuff, but I mean, he's fighting fucking nobodies, man. So yeah, like the old Whack-A-Mole here, and we'll probably just find a parlay piece for
him. He's fighting the best of the best in France, Wesley. Right?
I mean,
isn't Wilson Hayes a couple years ago?
I mean, when you're only had legal MMA for like 7 days, that's the kind of guys you get to fight over there.
Yeah. I was actually kind of hoping that this line would be more inflated and I'd be tempted to take a shot on old Taylor in this one, but I think it kind of accurately reflects that this is going to be a somewhat challenging fight for Basharat, at least early, and might be able to wear him down a little bit late. But I think this is going to be competitive until he finds his way to that first or even second takedown. Lapilus is tricky on the feet. He usually keeps distance well. I don't think it really matters at bantamweight, but this is the smaller cage this is an Apex thing, right?
Yep.
They wouldn't put this in
UFC
arena.
Vegas 84. We're up to 84 Apex events.
84 of those. Wow.
Content.
I think they're gonna hit. Oh yeah, they definitely will. I was gonna do like what comes first, UFC 400 or UFC Vegas 400, but Vegas 400 will be way before that. That's great. They got so many years to do that. Anyway, I think Basharat ends up winning a decision here. Good fight. Just probably won't end up being the most exciting fight in the world, and it's buried on the prelims. Sticking around in bantamweight, for some reason, these two guys who are significantly worse than the two guys we just talked about are above them on the fight card because that's how you build a fight card that people want to watch. Marcus McGhee Grandpa Trinaldo's American nephew. We'll say nephew. He was like a little bit younger. He's morphing very quickly into Trinaldo territory. But Marcus McGhee, the American Trinaldo, taking on Gaston Bolanos. Bolanos, I guess. Wasn't Gaston? He was like the candlestick in Beauty and the Beast.
I
think he was. I'm hearing the candlestick Gaston voice in my head.
No, he's the bad dude. He's the bad dude.
He's the Beast?
No.
Wow.
The Beast isn't the bad dude.
Yes, he is. He kidnaps a woman. Holds her father hostage. What the fuck are we talking about here, man? Anyway, break this shit down.
I don't give a fuck about breaking down this fight, but this is an all-time UFC can crusher matchup. Bolanos has one win in the UFC. That win is against Aaron Phillips, who is 0-2 in the UFC. Marcus McGhee has 2 wins in the UFC. One to JP Buys, who went 0-4 in the UFC. And the other one is against Journey Newsome. Journey Newsome has 1 win and 4 losses in the UFC. His only win is against Fernie Garcia, who is 0-3 in the UFC. The combined fucking records of these guys who they've beat is just absolutely atrocious. I really don't care about this fight, but that was a good wormhole that I went into.
Wesley, by the way, you were right. Gaston is the bad guy. He's just a simple hunter.
Outside of the homicidal maniac that's in the movie as well, the Beast.
Yeah, exactly.
Not women and shit. Yeah, the difference with these guys is Grandpa McGhee can bang, and that guy hits fucking hard. He's gonna hit this dude hard, and he's eventually gonna get him out of there. I like McGhee in this spot. McGhee inside is like -125. I don't think that's a bad bet.
So Gaston's nickname is the Dream Killer. I just didn't think that when he was going through and picking that nickname, it was his dreams he would be killing. Or that would be dying. Anyway, yeah, what you guys said, I think he's going to get bombed on in this one. So we'll see what prop prices are. Maybe some early McGhee stuff could be worth a little shot. Probably fun while it lasts. This dude, just looking at him, cracks me up. Grandpa McGhee, legend. Love it.
Dude looks fucking 50, bro. Like, straight up. Dude looks fucking 50.
Welterweight division, Preston Parsons. So basically on this card, UFC was like, do you have an extremely white, extremely alliterative name? Are you Preston Parsons? Are you Weston Wilson? Come on down, baby. He's taking on Matthew the Semelsberger. Sean?
This should be an interesting matchup. We'll see kind of whose skills really are the bigger deal, because this is basically striker versus grappler. Semelsberger has kind of shown some pretty bad takedown defense. The dude also hits really hard, but also can't finish guys anymore. It's very confusing. He hasn't finished the guy since like late 2021, yet he has like 7 knockdowns since that fight. Like,
he gets like a knockdown every fight.
Basically every fight. It's very rare where he doesn't get a knockdown, and he's still losing half of these fights. That's the wild thing. Preston Parsons been knocked out. He got knocked out by D-Rod and Mike Perry. Those are pretty heavy hitters. So was Semelsberger. So I wouldn't be too surprised if somehow Semelsberger catches him. But I'm going to side with Preston Parsons grappling Semelsberger and Semelsberger surviving on the ground. So I'm probably going to bet Parsons by decision plus 400.
Mike Perry back in 2015 was he was to that generation what Trevor Peake is to this generation, even to the point of being ruined by somebody being like, no, you've got to learn how to fight. And they break them.
Is there any fighter that's in a better situation than Mike Perry? Like he is in bare knuckle boxing, and that is perfect. The most just apt place for him to be. It's amazing.
Especially when they're serving you up fucking legend names like Eddie Alvarez, and when he's 40 and fucking gets his shit pieced. Like it's the perfect scenario for Mike Perry.
Sometimes you just find your calling in life.
You do.
Wes, your thoughts on the smelt and the PP?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Sean said as far as breaking down the fight. Man, it's hard. I've gone back and forth on a side here. Still kind of up in the air. I lean the old Semelsberger a little bit just because he's got that power. I don't know. I just feel like this is gonna go a little time, man. Like I think Sean hit it on the head. Like even though the old Semelsberger can hit hard and gets those knockdowns, man, he has zero fucking finishing ability. He literally can't get none of these guys out of there. He's also really tough and shit. He's hard to get out of there himself. I know the old medic got him last time with some crazy spinning shit and stuff, but like that was cruising to a 15-minute decision. I think this one probably gets there too. And I feel like whatever side you like, you take a little decision because they're really big prices. Sean likes Parsons' decision, which is plus 400. The old Semelsberger's decision is plus 360, and that's just with Bet Online out there. Like those are both going to be bigger once FanDuel and Bet365 releases their props. That's absolutely going to be bigger numbers on both of those. So I think this goes a little bit of time. I might just end up on the over, like the over 2.5 is some plus money. It's only in one spot too. So hopefully that's a little better than the plus 135 out there. So if I can get some like plus 150 or something on the over, I might just end up in that spot. But I lean the old Semelsberger. Might take a little decision if something like plus 450, 500 pops on one of those sites.
Yeah, I'm debating between taking the Semelsberger or taking the over. I would even be open to taking that 1.5 and parlaying it because one of the other overs I was looking at later on the card already moved a bit. Don't really love playing it straight at this point, so might just look at taking some Semelsberger minus 130. I think that's a good price. As you both said, he's got the power. He's probably going to win a round just based off that. So can he win one more round against Preston Parsons? I certainly hope so. You would think that he would be able to do that. He's the more talented fighter for sure. But yeah, just not quite sure. That over 1.5 certainly has a lot more safety to it. Of course, the way that loses is Semelsberger just comes out and melts him in like the first punch that he throws.
Actually gets a finish on one of his 17 knockdowns. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do there, but it's one of those two. And there will be a bet of some sort on this.
It's always nice to get a shots under when they go overtime and penalties. It's beautiful.
Penalties don't count.
They don't count.
Well, I'm just saying overtime. It went the full distance, and you get under 1.5, especially when he had one in the first, and then they take it off the board. So it's really fucking nice.
Needed it.
We needed that one taken off the board yesterday instead.
Yeah,
bugging with old Vince Dunn's shot total. I was having strokes. I thought watching those numbers change. Anyway, we're gonna move it on to the head. Like they could have just stopped the card here. I mean, we're just throwing on this they're throwing Andre Arlovski on the prelims of a UFC Vegas card where they are paying him more than every other fighter on the card combined.
Yep.
What is going like? He's
at least get you some main card action out of the guy. Fuck.
Yeah, you're paying for it. Like, just we say it every time he fights, but probably the most incredible businessman in MMA history. Is to be admired. Andre Arlovski taking on Where's Waldo Cortes. Sean, what do we got?
I like the over 1.5. I think many of us do. I know there's been 2 recent fights where Arlovski's got finished. The last time out, it still went over 1.5.
They were just putting 2.5s on him up into that point.
I know, because he went to decision damn near all the time. I think this is a bounce back. We get a boring, classic Arlovski fight. It's going to be close. It's going to be greasy. And yeah, I don't think Waldo Acosta is some absolute finisher that's going to get him out of there. So I think it's close. Acosta's not amazing. I'm going to pick Arlovski in ToutMaster. Let's go big dog hunting.
Hold on. You're telling me that the guy who couldn't finish Chase Sherman or Jared Bandera.
Jared Bandera is the worst one. Chase Sherman, sometimes shows some durability. Literally every person that beat Jared Bandera finished him except this guy.
Except this guy and... I don't think Andre Arlovski actually fought him, did he? Oh, yeah, he did. Arlovski fought him and beat him and didn't finish him.
Are you sure about that, Bandera?
I absolutely certain.
Arlovski's fought like all of these dudes over the past few years. Every t-shirt in the pool division guy Arlovski's ran through. Well,
that's right.
He's fucking 15-minute them. Like every single one of
them. Wes, your thoughts on this epic clash?
Classic Arlovski.
Like, come on, man. We're getting a true fatty here on an Arlovski fight. On top of it, against Waldo Cortes. Are you shitting me? Like, Cortes, he beats fucking this bum last time out, catches him, gets a KO. A dude that had fucking lost 3 in a row, just a absolute shitbag. And we're getting a 1.5. Are people watching Arlovski fight? So even the last one where he got out of there, like Sean said, it went over 1.5. They've just been putting 2.5s on Arlovski for like 3 or 4 years now because the dude is a 15-minute machine. Like this is crazy to me, man. Waldo Acosta is getting Arlovski out of there in under fucking 7.5. You're out of your mind, man. You're out of your mind. Even if you think fucking Waldo wins this fight, you possibly could. This is going to be 15 minutes of some greasy fucking shit, man. I love the over 1.5 here. This is probably going to be more bigger bet than it probably should be for me early on, but an Arlovski true 1.5 is wild to me, especially against this guy. And man, Arlovski against a dude of this caliber is sitting at plus 500. Are you fucking shitting me, man? Like, you have to just blindly take that. Like, don't you? Like, Waldo Acosta, you're getting plus 500 on a dude that knows how to fucking get these sort of close decisions. We've seen it over and over and over. I don't know, like, we know these judges are shit, but I don't know what they like about Arlovski and his fights, but for some fucking reason, they score rounds for him. I have no idea how you pass up. Arlovski could walk out and get fucking smoked by Acosta in 2 minutes, and I'll still think I made a couple good bets. A true 1.5 on Arlovski, plus 500 on Arlovski, greasing out a decision against another one of these fucking heavyweight bums. Sign me up, baby.
Yeah. Like, I get it. He's 44. He's been knocked out a billion times in his career. He's lost his last two. But I actually believe that Arlovski is going to just come out and 1-2 leg kick it. Like, both Chase Sherman and Bandera Bread were having a shitload of success kicking this dude in the legs. Do you think that Arlovski is...
Love him.
Do you think Arlovski is above bouncing around for 15 minutes, tossing a jab, maybe a 2, and just kicking this dude in the calf? Absolutely fucking not. And last fight, I don't know, he looked all right in the first round. He was doing fine. Obviously got caught and knocked out in the second round. Fight before that, he just got the shit grappled out of him. That's not happening here. Like, this is 15 minutes on the feet. And I don't think Where's Waldo is good. I don't think a 44-year-old Andrei Arlovski is good either. But a 44-year-old Andrei Arlovski knows how to win a decision. Yeah.
Dontel Mays has way better hands than Waldo Acosta. Way better. And they're shit. That's how bad Waldo Acosta's hands are.
Yeah. The one time I can remember him finishing somebody, obviously outside of the last one, was the Contender Series fight where he fought that like 5'8" heavyweight dude that just ran straight at him and chucked Hayes the whole time. And like, he doesn't know how to set anything up. He just wings an overhand right. And I think Andrei Arlovski can avoid that. So I'm taking the over 1.5. It's going to be at least a unit on Arlovski. This is getting crazy, though. We might have to go into the multiple unit range on Andrei Arlovski, plus 525.
2024, baby.
It's
44-year-old Andre, baby.
If I don't make that bet, I will be kicking my own ass forever. So Andrei Arlovski, it is just whatever giant. I can't believe this number is still going up.
What's split? Do they have a split number out yet?
I don't think so.
No, because they barely have full lines at most books.
I wonder what that's going to be, because that would not shock me. I mean, how many have we seen?
That's every Arlovski fight.
I'm telling you, that's got to be a big number.
Yeah. Well, especially, the over 2.5 is plus 150, goes the distance is over plus 200. Usually the split number is about 4 times that at least. So it'd be like 800 or more. But yeah, I have to take Andrei Arlovski in this fight. And if he goes out and gets nuked in 2 minutes because he's 44-year-old, fine. I will absolutely live with that. But I don't see that being the most probable outcome of this fight.
We'll forever be up on Andrei Arlovski fights. Forever.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Forever.
Main card now, just because we got to tone things down a notch, though I think this could be a fun way to start it off. Middleweight division, Philly Hogs, Brano Ferreira. He gives me the extra N, so you have to pronounce it. Sean, this is going to be quick.
Yeah, someone's going to die in round 1, and it's probably going to be epic. I'm sure Wes might be ready with some memes, because I'm thinking that's what we're going to witness on Saturday. Both these guys have huge power. I guess there's a possibility that Phil Hawes is just like, I should grapple because I don't want to be punched and get knocked the fuck out by this absolutely humongous dude. But the guy's shown pretty good striking. It's his chin that's a liability. So maybe after this latest one, he's just gonna try to switch to wrestling. But I think he is got a good shot here. Him round 1 TKO is plus 500. in a fight that's probably going to be a brawl, and both these guys have nukes. I don't think that's a bad spot. Bruno round one's like plus 250. You could arb those and just get like a round one TKO at like plus 121. That's not terrible either. I'll probably just stick with the old Phil Hawes TKO round one.
Wesley, are we getting Hoggy? Getting froggy for Hoggy?
Man, I don't know at this point. Like we kind of discussed this one before the show, and I lean that way. I'm like what Sean said. I think if you take both of these dudes round one KO, you're gonna make some money in this fight. I lean Hawes catching him. Like these Hawes dies a couple times, and then they serve him up a dude like this who he's just so much better than. He's just got a shit chin, and he ends up getting one. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this is the spot where Phil can catch this guy and get him out of there. But man, that chin is one of the worst in the sport at this point. And if he gets hit hard, he's going to sleep. So this is just round one deading all over it. I lean Hawes, definitely taking that plus 500 round one. I'll probably end up just taking them both and making a profit off of it. We'll pick the old Philly Hawes to bounce back in this spot, round one KO.
Yeah, I don't really want to fuck around with the side or anything on this. The total is ridiculously priced, as it should be probably. So I'm just looking at that discrepancy of one guy's plus 165, or no, what was he, plus 200 in round one?
250 and 500.
Yeah. Oh, for TKO, but just round one's like 200 plus 300.
Yeah, like why is that number so much bigger on Philly Hawes?
They think he's gonna grapple and choke this dude out. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't think he's gonna affect the line that much.
Yeah,
this guy's gonna bring it, and he's gonna either have to throw or get nuked.
I mean, and Ferreira like has some decent takedown defense. Like Hobo Cop tried to get a hold of him and shit, and like he kept it up. Like Ferreira's not like some bum that can be just taken down by Phil's throwing, man. Phil's gonna fucking try to engage a little bit, and I think they end up just throwing.
Yeah, so probably I'll join you boys on the little sprinkle on Philly Hawes round one KO. Bantamweight division, solid fight. Ricky Simón, Mario Bautista. I heard that the loser is going to have to pay for the winner's first daughter's quinceañera because they're both like fake Mexicans, but they really want to be real Mexicans. So they're going to have to, that's how they're going to convince each other. Anyway, Sean, this is a good fight.
This is a good fight. I think like Mario Bautista is good, but this is still a pretty sizable step down for Ricky Simón after the Song Yadong fight. That was a pretty poor performance, but Yadong is fucking good. Ricky Simón is a very good grappler. That's what he has to do. I think he can grapple Mario Bautista. Simon's done it against pretty good grapplers and like Jack Shore and things like that. Like I think he's pretty good. I don't think he's Song Yadong good, but he's pretty good. And I think that we'll see that Mario Bautista is just kind of a bit lower here. So I'm going to be parlaying Ricky Simón at minus 160. If that's what he is still. Oh, he's minus 160 in one place that I can bet.
Andrew.
Former MMA Analysis co-host and on-site reporter, Andrew Nixon, joining us in the chat. Andrew, how you doing?
Site.
Always
Face.
love to hear from you.
Happy
always
Face Tito is always going to be the A+ fucking profile pick.
That is correct. Wesley, your thoughts on Ricky Simón and Bautista?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic fight against two really good dudes. Like I get Sean's breakdown. I could absolutely see that happening. It's a possibility. I mean, that's the breakdown you're hoping for if you have your money on Ricky Simón. I think I think this line's just it's too far at this point. Like I think this fight is way closer to a pick 'em than one of them being closer to -200. Um, I think if Ricky Simón can't get consistent takedowns in this fight, um, man, it's really fucking close. I like Simone's hands and stuff, but man, it sometimes he can get a little wild. And if you're a little more technical, got some length and stuff like Bautista, I think you could, work that distance and pop a 1-2 every now and then. Does Bautista have like the power of Song? No, but I just think he's definitely the more technical striker. I don't know. Batista's takedown defense has been like not great at times. I just don't know if Ricky gets hit a couple times, he likes to brawl, man. Like you can bring a brawl out of Simón. So Batista's got to get in there and throw a little bit, bring a brawl out of him, maybe stop that spamming of the takedowns. But man, it feels like the line's just a little too wide here on what I think is a pick 'em fight. So it's going to be Bautista for me. I haven't bet it. I'm not sure if I'm going to bet it. If he gets up to 2-1, then it's absolutely a bet on Bautista for me. But man, close fight should be a good one. Could see a case for both sides. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is kind of tricky. The biggest thing holding me back from being confident in Ricky Simón is that he's just not the most durable dude in the world. He can get clipped. He can throw himself into something stupid as far as a sub goes. And Bautista can finish you in both those ways. And historically, Simón has lost to the guys who are kind of explosive and opportunistic. And I think that's kind of Bautista. If this does go 15 minutes, Ricky Simón is most likely getting his hand raised at the end of it. But I can certainly see several universes in which he is going to get stopped, whether it's getting clipped with something on a shot or like a knee as he's coming in or diving into a guillotine or something stupid like that. There's just a lot of ways that I think Ricky Simón can lose this fight. And I think even instead of what Wes was saying on the money line going too far, Bautista inside, it's only at Bet Online right now, plus 315. I'm probably going to look more in that direction than just the money line, just because I know what happens if this goes 15 minutes. So we'll see what the other lines are there for the inside and maybe end up with a little something on Mario Bautista. Lightweight division. Only 3 more to go, folks. Gabriel Mogli Benítez taking on Jimmy fucking Miller. Still doing it. Still looking for that UFC 300 slot. Sean, does a win here propel him to UFC 300?
I think it does. It's kind of hilarious. He fought 100, 200, and he's really trying for 300. They're really
fucking awesome.
It's awesome that a guy's like him has been around and gets this opportunity. They've been serving him up some pretty nice softballs at this day and age, which I'm fine with. Like a guy like him, you do not need to be feeding to real up and comers. Just let him fight who he's been fighting. Some kind of scrubs, some flawed veterans. That being said, Jesse Butler is not good. He beat the ghost of Donald Cerrone. He beat Nicholas Motta. Like these aren't real fighters, in my opinion. Gabriel Benítez is not amazing either, but he's got some finishing power as we've seen. So I like under 2.5. It's at 365. It's only minus 200. I think one of these guys is getting the other guy out of there. I'm hoping it's Jimmy Miller. It might be Gabriel Benítez.
Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough to take a 40-year-old Jimmy Miller as like a minus 145 fave. Like you like to get him in those spots to where he's the plus 150 dog against a dude that, probably should beat him, but not gotten a lot of those lately, man. Like he's fighting some absolute bums. Now, like Benítez is 35 and shit. It's not like he's some young dude and shit, but Jimmy's got like a decade more of fucking fight age on him than Benítez does at this point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I lean Benítez in this spot, but man, am I running out to take that small price against Jimmy Miller in this? No, man, you can't do that. I can't lay that kind of number on Jimmy either. The under might be a good look if you need a parlay piece, but I just don't know. I could see so many things happening in this fight. Probably just a complete pass. I'll be cheering for Jimmy Miller to get a win here and hopefully make that UFC 300 because that is a pretty cool fucking thing to have a guy in the sport make 1, 2, and 3. That's pretty awesome. So pulling for Jimmy Miller, I just feel like this is going to be a total pass for me.
So Sean, I'm going to need a ruling here. More real resume. Jesse Butler, Donald Cerrone, Nicholas Motta, or Charlie Ontiveros, Justin James, and Humberto Bandone.
Woo.
It's bad. One guy's 40, one guy's 35. They got
neither has been a relevant fighter this decade.
No.
I gotta take Jim Miller here. I know he's super old. You gotta stick with your guys. You win money with your guys, you lose money with your guys. It's all part of the journey. That's
what's Jimmy sub?
Jimmy sub was like up over 400. It was way more than the TKO line, which I thought was a little interesting.
Jimmy subs plus 400. Like we're gonna do some Seinfeld. Like Jimmy likes to sub people. Like,
well, it's Jimmy sub, and it's not Jimmy sub against a guy that won't grapple with him, because Benítez throws kicks and he tries to grapple, and those are the two things that he does, which can both lead to Jimmy fucking Miller hopping on that back, choking old boy out. And
I don't hate it. Don't hate
just seeing where we go. So again, gotta wait for a couple more spots to open up, props and all that fun stuff. But we're gonna end up invested on Jimmy fucking Miller in one way or another here. Co-main event rematch. This one is in the flyweight division. It's Matheus Nicolau taking on Manel Kape. Big line in this one. I can't remember what the line was last time, but I know it was a robbery. Maybe not a robbery. It was a close fight. It was a competitive fight. Given how close their previous fight was, I'm kind of surprised at how long this line is. Sean?
Yeah, it was a pick 'em, like Wes said. It was like minus 110, minus 15. It is a wide number. I think it's just based on how they've looked lately. Kape has really turned it around since those first two fights in the UFC against legit guys, like obviously Pantoja. Nicolau is tough, but he's kind of figured out his game finally. Nicolau's looked good for the most part until he ran into Brandon Royval, which can happen to people. So yeah, this number is a bit wide. I was initially leaning to parlaying Kape, but this could end up being a super close fight again, and maybe those same judges are judging on Saturday and still like what they see a little bit more of Nicolau. Nicolau's got to get this guy down. I just don't know if he's going to be able to keep him down for much amount of time. So as long as Kape is active on the feet, I think he can win the decision. But it's tough to lay minus 270 at this point, where I don't think he's going to finish Nicolau, and then it's going to get dicey if it goes to cards.
Wesley.
Yeah, I think since their first fight, like Kape's just looked more improved and better to me. But in saying that, like, this is still a close fight. Kape being minus 275, 250, like it's a pretty big line, man. I do lean him in this fight. But man, I'm not gonna parlay him in this spot. I do kind of lean that this is, I wouldn't say slow, but sort of technical, sort of Nicolau trying to get takedowns, Kape disengaging. We know Kape like has power, but he sets things up. He's not out there throwing a ton of punches and making it wild brawls. He's very, very technical, more slow. I lean the over in this spot more than anything. I think this probably goes 15 again. I think it's a pretty technical fight. I think it's one dude wanting to strike, one dude wanting to grapple. I don't think that Nicolau's like stand up is so bad though, to where he's going to get into trouble with Kape per se. He doesn't want to take his, clean shots from Kape. That's for sure. But Nicolau doesn't have horrible striking, and I think he'll slow it down even more, trying to get a couple takedowns there. We might see some clinching and stuff against the cage a little bit. So yeah, my lean in this fight's definitely to over 10.5. I lean Kape to get a decision here, but man, I don't know. It just seems like a really closer fight than minus 250. It's one of those spots though, to where it's like it is a losing ticket on a dog hair value. I just don't think it is to me. So yeah, Kape's going to be the pick, and we'll probably have a little money on the over 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I guess based on the expectations for Kape coming into the UFC, he had a lot more room to look better after his first couple fights than Nicolau has. So, he's done it. It hasn't been against great competition. Like, both these dudes fought David Dvorak. Kape fought ZZ and a couple other guys that I don't remember right now. And Nicolau fought and worked his way up to a guy who just fought for the title and did so pretty damn competitively. And that's when he finally lost. So I just don't see how you can look at their previous fight and say, oh yeah, this one dude should be close to minus 300. There were grappling sequences where Nicolau had more success, and then they struck for 10 minutes and it was pretty close. Like, if not for the last minute of that fight, Kape definitely loses a decision, not just maybe it was a robbery, loses a decision. Because Nicolau was doing some work on the feet in that third round. So I think it's going to be competitive again. I think this line is way too far out there. Maybe it's a spot for a split prop or one of those plus 3.5s, the handicaps. I haven't done any of those in a while, but it is a little tempting just to look at Nicolau by decision straight up as well. So
yeah. And I'll add to that, like, the number is probably out there a little too off of that last fight for Nicolau, but man, he just ran into like crazy Royval. Like, it happens. Yeah. Like, literally, Royval's that dude that can just pull some shit out every now and then. And it happened to Nicolau in that fight. He fucking caught him. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely like swinging that line a certain way as well.
Yeah. So competitive fight, good fight. We'll see, but probably going to be ending up, definitely going to be on the over. Probably going to be ending up with some Nicolau, as well as prices continue to come out Main event. I think we got all we can get out of this one. This is like kind of a rematch, right? I mean, we didn't really get much of the first fight. So maybe let's take it easy this time, guys. Go back to your roots, Yawnkalaev. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, let's get some classic Yawnkalaev in this one. I'm going to be playing over 1.5. Looks like now I'm going to probably have to put in a parlay. It was minus 140 there for a while, and I didn't pull the trigger. But Yawnkalaev, for the most part, is always going to be a guy that fights smart and fights to his abilities and doesn't get pulled into wars and grinds on people and doesn't do much. And I think that's what he's going to do here. I know Johnny Walker is going to try to not make that happen, but there is a sizable skill gap here. I think Yawnkalaev is gonna grind him against the fence, trying to wear him out, and probably gets a finish, in maybe late second or third or a little bit later. It's probably just gonna be once Walker tires out. So I like the over 1.5, and Yawnkalaev is gonna win.
The only wars that Yawnkalaev is getting pulled into are funded by Kadyrov. All right. Wes, what do you got on this fight?
Yeah, don't get disappeared, motherfucker. Yeah, I mean, a 1.5 from the old Yawnkalaev is very tasty, especially now that you have SBG Johnny Walker on the other side of it. If this was pre-SBG Johnny Walker, probably not, because Johnny Walker would do some dumb shit and probably get taken down at sub Ankalaev in the first round, or would catch Ankalaev and knock him out. Just not current day Johnny Walker. Like John Kavanaugh run the guy like he truly did. Took away what the guy does well and how he won fights. I know he pulled some out lately before this one. Winning those fights by doing classic Johnny Walker shit. You know what I'm saying? Not Kavanaugh trained shit. I think he just reverts back to that. I think this is a slow start. I think Sean's right about how Ankalaev wins. He's going to try to get a hold of Johnny Walker. He's going to try to get him to the cage and grind. I'm probably just going to play the over 1.5 straight. I missed out on the 140 as well, but I think there's like some minus 160 out there. That's not too rich for my blood. So probably just take a little bit of that straight. Really don't want to side in this fight. Ankalaev should get it done eventually, but man, he's minus 500 or some shit now. I'm not sure what he is inside. Maybe some Ankalaev sub prices are kind of out there. There's some 10-1 on Ankalaev sub out there and stuff. I don't know. Maybe sprinkle on a prop or something, but I like the over quite a bit.
Yeah, I didn't mention this earlier because we were talking about the two different ones at the start of the show. This one moved. So the consensus bet of the week, you'll have to dial it back to
yeah,
the
we totally
prelim
forgot.
headliner. Andrei Arlovski over 1.5. I couldn't talk them all the way in to just the Arlovski bet, folks. I apologize, but we're going Arlovski fatties. A classic.
We're all betting
combination.
We're all betting Arlovski. All of us are betting Arlovski in some form or fashion.
I certainly hope so.
Yep.
That's it's funny because I would say that would be the Donnie Donowitz bet of the week.
Lance would never bet that
ever a thing, but never, not a chance that he would.
Well, I mean,
with Arlovski on that,
I think you got to just officially take over Munich, though. Like that's a one man. That's a one man show.
Whatever your favorite bet is, that is the it has to obviously go with the Munich bet of the week, but
we'll have to we'll figure something out. But anyway, as far as this fight goes, I said all that because I also like the over 1.5 here. don't really have huge opinions on it otherwise. We've seen a fight before where someone is dangerous to Ankalaev for even a moment, and he just kind of backs off and is willing to coast 25 and get the win. That would be the Thiago Santos fight where he got clipped a little bit and just sort of went back into his shell. I could very much see that happening in the SB Johnny fight here as well. And he's so controlled and composed now that even if he does hurt Yawnkalaev, he's probably just going to hang back and not do anything too crazy and blow his shot at actually getting a finish. So I like the over 1.5 here. I think that is the one where I was talking about parlaying the over 1.5 in the Semelsberger fight potentially. So we could be looking at those two paired together. But pick will be Ankalaev. Bet will be over 1.5 in a parlay of some sort. And that did it for this week. I know we had a little housekeeping at the start of the show. We're also going to remind anyone that's still listening, if you're still listening, either it's because you enjoy us for some reason, or you think we're terrible at betting and you're wanting to fade us. But you can also fade us in ToutMaster, because you can kind of tell what our ToutMaster picks are going to be by listening to the show, and then you can beat us over there. If you haven't done so yet, only by the time you're listening to this, like a day left to sign up. So contact the MMA Analysis, contact any one of us if you've got us on the old tweeter machine, and we'll get you the instructions however we need to. But we appreciate everyone listening. We are looking forward to a successful, fruitful 2024 as far as gambling goes. And John, Wes, anything to add tonight?
Terrible UFC Canada paper next week.
So I am. We'll catch you next week, folks.